We shall now go on to our next speaker, Dr. Shikha Basi, so Deputy Director of Neuro-Ophthalmology at Shankar Nethralaya, Chennai, a dynamic presence in Indian ophthalmology, who is going to take us on to sinister science on neuro-ophthalmology. Of course, the talk is going to be amazing, but we'll have to keep a watch on time. She's already warned us. On to you, Dr. Shikha.
Thank you. Thank you, Team ARC, especially Dr. Chitra, for giving me this opportunity. I'll be talking about sinister signs and neuro-ophthalmology. Sinister sign is a harbinger of blindness or of death. Hence, it should be dealt with urgency. Concomitant squint can become a sinister sign if it is sudden onset in an otherwise healthy adult, as was seen in this 34-year-old otherwise healthy female who came to us with sudden onset diplopia for 3 days with left convergent squint. Extraocular motility evaluation showed abduction deficit on the in the left eye, diagnosed to have left sixth nerve palsy. MRI with MRA brain and orbit revealed a small aneurysm of the left intracranial left ICA cavernous segment, and a similar lesion was seen on the right side as well. Patient was referred to an interventional radiologist for DSA and treatment with coiling. Concomitant squint in a healthy child of sudden onset should also be taken very seriously. This 9-year-old female came to us with sudden onset inward deviation of the left eye since 20 days, which was preceded by a headache. Her ophthalmic evaluation was normal, other than the left eye convergent squint, which again on ocular motility evaluation revealed abduction deficit on the left side, and she was also diagnosed to have a left sixth nerve palsy. Neuroimaging revealed almost an iso-intense lesion in the left half of the pons. On T1, on T2, it was hyperintense lesion. MR spectroscopy revealed a choline peak, and the child was harboring a pilocytic astrocytoma. Neoplasms form an important cause of sixth nerve palsy in children, hence it should be taken seriously. Sudden onset concomitant squint in a diabetic is usually not a sinister sign unless associated with multiple cranial nerve palsies, swelling, redness, loss of sensation, conjunctival chemosis, as was seen in this middle-aged lady with uncontrolled diabetes. She presented to us with total ophthalmoplegia, with redness, swelling on the left side of not only the eye, but face as well. Contrast-enhanced MRI of the brain in orbit revealed a soft tissue lesion in her left cavernous sinus and SOF region. She was having suspected to have a fungal granuloma. The mucosal lesion from the left nasal cavity was biopsied, which showed plenty of fungal filaments, which confirmed the diagnosis of mucormycosis, potentially fatal condition, and it can lead to death within days. Anisocoria with ptosis can be because of Horner syndrome, and which can be associated, if it has history of pain as well, can be because of the dissection of carotid artery, as seen in this gentleman who came to us with ptosis, mild ptosis of the right eye, anisocoria with the right eye pupil smaller than the left eye pupil, and anisocoria increasing in dim light. The sudden onset incomplete painful Horner syndrome in this gentleman led us to order MRI with MRA head, neck, upper chest, and MRA neck showed focal dissection of the distal cervical internal carotid artery. Patient was referred to the interventional radiologist, who started the patient on oral antiplatelet agents. Non-glaucomatous optic atrophy, if associated with gradual vision loss, can be a sinister sign. This gentleman, elderly gentleman, came to us with a history of decreased vision in both the eyes since past 8 months. He was on anti-glaucoma treatment for 4 months, and his presentation visual acuity was counting fingers in the right eye, and left eye no perception of light with an intraocular pressure of 10 millimeters of mercury, the optic discs were like this. Our glaucoma department was not convinced about the diagnosis, referred the patient to us. Neuroimaging revealed a non-axial basifrontal iso-intense lesion on T1 and T2, diagnosed to have olfactory groove meningioma. A hemianopic field defect, if it is gradual, unexplained, associated with gradual unexplained vision loss, is again sinister, as seen in this gentleman who came to us with a history of gradual decrease in vision in the right eye, with visual acuity of 660 in the right eye and left eye 6.9, with essentially a normal fundus. But the visual field showed a temporal hemianopic defect in the right eye and almost a 3-quadrant defect in the left eye. He was harboring a pituitary adenoma, which was causing compression of the intracranial optic nerve, pushing the chiasm up. Optic disc infiltration is really sinister. It is a sign of malignancy. These discs are characterized by nodular and irregular appearance with peripapillary hemorrhages. This gentleman, elderly gentleman, came to us with secondary central retinal vein occlusion due to the optic nerve head edema, thickening and infiltration. MRI confirmed that he had a gastric carcinoma with liver metastasis. This is my last case. Traumatic optic neuropathy with epistaxis history, especially associated with skull-based fracture, should be taken seriously, as can be associated with traumatic pseudoaneurysm of internal carotid artery, as seen in this gentleman. He had a history of road traffic accident 8 months back and had a history of gradual progressive decrease in vision after the accident since past 4 months. And he had optic atrophy in the left eye, and extraocular motility evaluation revealed an elevation deficit in the left eye, and he also had an abduction deficit in the left eye. He also had this cotton plug in the left nasal cavity because of the recent onset of epistaxis. We knew there was nil visual prognosis for the traumatic optic neuropathy in the left eye, but he had limitation of ocular movements and epistaxis. We ordered an MRI, which showed a mixed intensity signal irregular lesion in the posterior ethmoid and sphenoid area, and originating from the cavernous internal carotid artery, suspected a pseudoaneurysm, which was confirmed with MRA, and patient was referred to an interventional radiologist, underwent a coil embolization of feeding artery, and a catastrophe was averted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shikha. That was wonderful, and how you put together so many sinister signs. Something as basic as a confrontation method would also probably help you in some of very early diagnosis or some hint of a sinister issue, I'm sure.
Definitely, definitely.
I'm going to go on to the next speaker. I'm sure there could be wonderful questions, but we have to hear them